Welcome to eSNOOPI Pro, the new permitting system for the state of Washington for oversized overweight permits. The website can be found at eSNOOPIPro.com. Once you go to the website, you will be presented with the login page. Each of you have already been entered into the system, so when you get here, you should be able to click Sign in as sole user. It is important to start from the permitting system and not the SAW website so that you're correctly redirected to the website. So while you're on eSNOOPIPro.com, click Sign in as SAW user. This will redirect you to the SAW website. You log in with your username and password for SAW and click Submit. Once you do this, you'll be redirected to the permitting system and actually logged in and on your dashboard. On your dashboard, you have a few items over here on your left-hand side. We call this the left-hand navigation. To the right, you will have some searches. You have some quick searches next to find, and then you have some advanced searches that you can also do. We'll go over those in just a moment. The first thing we'd like to cover is recording a violation. So over here on your left-hand navigation, you would click Record Violation. To find the carrier or the permit that you're looking for, you would either select the company or the permit number. For this scenario, we're going to click permit number, and I'm going to enter a permit number that we're going to apply a violation to. Once you search for that permit, it brings up the permit, the company name, the permit start and end date, and the current status of the permit. You're going to click the green arrow to manage your actions for this violation. Once on this page, you need to record your badge number, a violation description. For this one, we'll do traveling before daylight. You can select warning or confiscation. Both are tracked in the system. Only confiscations actually have a penalty, such as removing the customer or carrier's self-issue rights. So we're going to click confiscation for this. Violation type, you have a drop down here to pick from. If none of these meet your needs, you can select other. For this, we're going to say violation of curfew hours, and we're going to click submit. So again, we have the permit number, the customer. You've recorded your badge number so that we can track who actually did this action, what the violation description was, the violation type, and whether it's a warning or a confiscation. Once you have all that filled out like you need, we're going to click submit. We're going to confirm. And now if we look for this permit number again, it has a status of confiscated. That means that anyone that does a search for this permit will be able to see that it has been confiscated, and the customer can no longer self-issue. This is their first offense, so the offense is 24 hours. If you'd like to go back and look at the notes that you entered for this, you can click the pencil icon, which is an edit. It allows you to go back and look at the actions that you did. None of these can actually be changed unless you click the word clear. So if you entered something by mistake, or if you meant for this to be a warning, perhaps, you could click the clear button and confirm it, and it would take away this action of confiscation. For now, we're going to leave this as confiscated. So we're just going to cancel that we want to make any changes. We're going to click cancel and come back to this screen. Anytime you finish working on a screen in the system, always click State User Dashboard to get you back to your dashboard. Try to refrain from using the back and forward arrows in your browser. So I'm going to click State User Dashboard, and it brings me back to the dashboard, the same place you were when you first logged in. In addition to recording violations or clearing a violation, if you'd like to do that, you also have some reports here. If you click the report link and click reports, there is a violation report, and you can pick a time period. You can go by the permit issue date, a confiscation date, a particular company, or all companies, and you can run a report and run it in Excel or as a PDF if you're wanting to look up the history of some violations for a particular carrier or for particular permit. And this is in report format, as we said, in Excel or PDF and can be printed. So that's available to you in addition to recording violations. You can do reports and a violation report to be able to see the history of violations within the system. I'm going to go back to State User Dashboard. At this point, we're going to talk about doing some searches. So if you have a carrier that doesn't have a permit or doesn't have it on them and they said they had a permit, but just don't have it in hand, you can always go see if you can find that permit in the system. And you have several options. You can do this quick search here and just select permit number and enter the permit, or you can do an advanced permit search, which has a lot of extra options. So I'm going to do advanced and permit. And when I get here, I can search by many different things related to the permit, such as the application ID, its current status, the number, when it was issued, permit types. I can search by carriers, by permit services, by dimensions of the permit. So this gives you a lot of flexibility in the searches that you would like to do. So the first thing we're going to do is search for that permit that we just confiscated. So I'm going to search by permit number, and I'm going to enter that permit number that we just confiscated and hit search. And you can see that the permit status here is confiscated. That's the same permit that we were just working on. Additionally, I'm going to search for a second permit for an oversized overweight permit that was issued in the system today. So you have a couple of options once you find the permit that you're looking for. You can click this green arrow to manage the information for this permit. If you click that, you're brought to a series of tabs that will give you information about that permit. It gives you the general information such as the permit type, who ordered it. This was ordered by a permit service. You can see that here. You can see information about the dimensions, the vehicle, the load description, the axle spacings. If you want to look at the route that's associated to the permit, you can hit the Route tab, and it gives you the description for pilot escort requirements. It gives you what the scales are along the route. It also gives you the turn-by-turn directions for that permit. You can also click Load Map, and it will load the map and give you a visual of the route, starting from the origin here with the green pin drop with an O to the red pin drop with a D for destination. So it shows you this trip and how it traveled from its origin to its destination. If you'll notice, once we went to the permit details, we open a second tab. So when you're finished looking at this, be sure and close that second tab so that you're back on your dashboard. For this particular permit, I'd like to look at the PDF. So I'm going to go to the Documents and PDFs tab. And here there is a copy of the PDF. If this permit has been amended, there would be several PDFs here. So you would see one with the timestamp of when it was issued. If it was also amended, there'd be a second later timestamp with a second PDF where you could see what the current PDF actually looks like. So from here, we're going to click View. It's going to open our permit PDF for us. You'll notice the permits do look a little bit different than the ones you currently have. It gives you some general information about when the permit was issued, who it was issued to, the vehicle information, the dimensions, gives you the axle configuration, and abbreviated directions, conditions that apply to the permit, and then it gives you your turn-by-turn directions. It also lists here the same escort requirements that we saw when we were looking at the permit details. You can see now that I have 3 tabs open. One is actually the PDF that we have open. I'm going to go ahead and close that. I'm also going to close this that took us to the permit details for that permit, and we're back on our search screen. I do want to mention here that you can also access the PDF from this page. So you could, from your dashboard, do the advanced permit search for this permit number. And then here where the Adobe icon is, you can just open the PDF from here. You don't have to actually go to the details to find this PDF. Again, I'm going to close this. I'm going to go back to my state user dashboard. I'm sorry I timed out there for a moment. I've had my screen open for quite some time today. If you ever get that reload message, you just say that you want to still stay logged in. I'm going to go back to my dashboard. We're going to do that one more time. We did an advanced permit search. We went to permit details and said that we wanted to search by the permit number. We entered our permit number and click search. And it brought that permit on the screen for us, where we could go to the permit details here and go to all of those different tabs. Or we could go here to the Adobe icon and open the actual PDF for that permit. There are multiple searches you can do here. As we previously mentioned, you can search by many things from load dimensions to people, such as carriers or permit services, so that you can get a long list of results if you need that. If you want to search for all permits for a particular carrier, you can do that just by typing in the company name that you'd like to search for and get all of their permit history. So there are quite a few searches you can do here if for some reason you need to look at more information than just the permit PDF. I'm going to go back to the state user dashboard. From the advanced search, you can also look for a particular company if you would like to. You can search by company name, their DBA, their email address, their USDOT number. For this instance, I'm going to search for our company name that we use as a test company in the production system, ProMiles Test 1. Once you find that company, you can go to the actions. You can see that we are temporarily not allowed to self-issue because of that confiscated permit we did just a little bit ago. But if there's anything you wanted to check on the company, by searching for the company, you could do that just to see what their name, their DBA, their contact information. If there's been any notes added about that particular company, you would see those here as well. I don't know that you would ever need to search for a company, but if you did, that option is available from the advanced search for searching for companies. You can also search for companies here, which is probably a lot faster than doing the advanced search. Again, same thing, it brings you to this main screen where you can see that we are confiscated in a confiscated status currently. So we are not able to self-issue if we are ProMiles Test 1. I'm going to go back to my dashboard. So we've covered how to record a violation. You can record either a warning or a confiscation. You can also go in and clear that violation if you assigned it to the wrong company or to the wrong permit number, or if you decided to change that confiscation to a warning or vice versa, you can clear those and re-enter those. We also talked about reports. where if we go to the report option, we have the ability to print a report for the confiscations so that we can see the history of those with this violation report. Go back to my state user dashboard. We've talked about how to do a quick search here. We can search for a permit or a company or DOT number. We can also do that with an advanced search to be able to find a particular permit or a particular company. The last thing we'd like to talk about is if you are a supervisor or have staff that reports to you that you either need to enter into the system or remove from the system. If you are a supervisor, you are already set up in the system to be able to manage your staff. So what you could do is if you needed to edit something for a particular user that you have, from the dashboard, you would click State User, enter that user's last name. I'm just going to search for myself. And you would have the ability to change information about them. We can't change the SAW information, but you could change their email if you wanted to update a phone number for them, if you needed to lock them out of the system for some reason, say that they're no longer working there. All of those tasks you can do here. So again, we're going back to the state user dashboard. If you need to edit a user that you already have in the system, you would do the find state user, enter the last name of the state user, and do the edits that you need to do on the screen, and then save those edits, and that user would be updated. If you have a new employee, then you would hit the create, and you would create a state user. Once presented with the user management screen, you would enter that user's first and last name, their SAW login, email address, phone number, supervisor if you would like, or supervisor email. The rest of this you really don't have to populate. You can if you'd like to, but the system will automatically assign the day that you create the user as their start date. So you don't have to really worry about the right-hand side of the screen if you don't want to. The required fields are over here on the left with first, last name, SAW login, email, and phone number. The second thing that you'd want to do after you created this user is to give them permissions. So once you get to this permission tab, you would assign them as an enforcement user or an enforcement supervisor, whichever their role is. Clicking just the link for whatever their role is automatically applies the permissions. You can see here that those permissions are already assigned on the screen. If I were to be a supervisor, I would also have some user maintenance that I would be able to do. And then naturally you would click Save. You can also see we've opened up a new tab. So we're going to close that out. We didn't actually create a user. So again, just as a recap, if I want to edit a current user that's already in the system, I would search for state user and enter the last name, make any of the edits that you need to do, and then click Save. If you have a new employee, you would click Create State User, enter their information, go to Permissions, give them a user role of enforcement user, and save. And as soon as that is complete, they would be able to log into the system. So that is all we had to show today. I appreciate your time. If you have any questions, please reach out to the permit office and they can either get you in contact with us or answer your questions. We are the vendor, ProMiles Software Development Corporation. We're here to help for anything that you all may need as far as using the system, getting familiar with the system, or if there's anything that we can do to make it more user-friendly for you, we would certainly like to know. Thank you again for your time today. We appreciate you getting familiar with the new system and hope that it's a great benefit to you and your team. Thanks so much.